Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're going to start back on the garden dump trailer. And I'm cutting a piece right now. I got two pieces to cut, and while that's cutting, I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys what I was planning on trying here. Let me shut this door. That thing's pretty loud. Before I do this, I wanted to show you guys what I did to my awning. The wind caught it a couple months ago and put it on top of the shop and broke several of the brackets. Now let me get those and I'll show you what I got. What it had these things on there, and they're just old pop aluminum junk, trash from, they were trash when they come out of the showroom floor. And it broke that one, as you can see. It bent that bracket, and this one looked just like that one, and broke it clean in half. So I'll show you what I did. I made new ones, just like that right there, and they bolt on. They're not riveted on. I'm just glad it didn't break this. And then I made that one right there, as you can see, and it bolts on top. And I put lap sealing around it to make sure the screw didn't get any water down around it. Welded everything. And that's what the other side looks like also. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you what we got here. Alright then. We have the jack that I made, as you can see, with the bracket, and it's got a little rusty. It's been a while since I've messed with it. Of course, this is all took back apart and repainted once I'm done. Trailer and all has got to get repainted. I just throwed paint on it just enough to keep me from rusting too bad. But I decided to put it just like that right there. And I was going to put the head up at the other end, but I wouldn't have been able to get this angle because the head would have had to been down, which would have brought this up. And in fact, I'll show you what it would have been. So if we put it in like that right there, we wouldn't have been able to get down far enough to get this down inside here, because we need to get down as low as we possibly can, and that's not very much of an angle. Plus we'd have to put a bracket, some kind of support across here to mount this too. So I figured, why do it that way when this thing's not light. That head is heavier than you think. So basically what I decided to do is put some 1/4 inch L channel underneath this, the side, the tongue. And it'll come out to about right here. So I've cut two pieces 10 inches long, and it will come out from here 5 inches. That will give me the two spots where I need to bolt this to. That will make my hinge. And then I'll just put a bushing on each side, a long bushing about yay long on each side, however long it's going to be, and just put a bolt through it. Alright, so that'll take care of this side. Then I'll run the jack out until it gets up to here, and then the rest of the L channel that I'm cutting the 10-inch pieces off of, I'll cut 2 pieces to mount to the side of this to put a bolt through for this. Alright, that'll be the hinge for that. Now, this thing goes out pretty far, so I believe it would work just fine. But we don't know yet. I wanted to put this up temporary just to see how it was going to work, but I really can't do much temporary. Actually, yeah, I can. I could probably just clamp those brackets on here, put a bolt through it, and clamp the brackets on up here, put a bolt through it, and test it out. That way I ain't welding nothing. But that's the plan. So let's just hope it works. And I've got plenty of room through here underneath this. Nothing's going to hit, so I got plenty of room here, and then I got to figure out where I'm going to put a battery. I don't know where I'm going to put a battery, but I'm sure we'll find a spot. We might have to get a small battery to put right here on each side. But then again, I could just run the power from the tractor, because I'm going to have lights on the trailer, so I'm going to have probably a 5-prong plug for the hitch, so I'm going to have an extra spot to put power back here and a ground from the tractor, so probably wouldn't even need a battery on the trailer, and that would keep it lighter too. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll just run from the tractor's battery. So let me get the pieces cut and get it ready to mount underneath here, and get these 2 pieces cut and get it ready to mount on here. I got to drill a hole in this, and I wanted to wait until I got done with the end of this, or wait until I get done with the bracket to find out where I want to put my hole in this. So stay tuned. Alright guys, here's what we got. We got this just clamped on there temporary. You know, drilled a hole. I made a mistake and drilled the hole in the wrong spot, in the wrong angle, so I had to re-drill another one going in there. So now we got 4 holes. No big deal. Alright, then we'll go underneath here, and let me put something down so I don't get dirt all over me. Alright, what we did is we clamped an L bracket, or bolted, drilled a hole through this, and then tapped this out, drilled and tapped that for a 5/16 18 thread bolt, and bolted it to the frame in 2 places. And then I drilled a hole in the wrong place, so I had to drill another one up here in the corner. That was to keep this corner from hitting the frame of the gearbox. So I just got a pin in there. Now this is permanent. The only thing I got to do now is make some bushings to go in between this just to keep this in the middle. For now, this is just for test purposes. Alright. Sorry. And then this is just clamped on temporary because I don't think it's completely centered. But I did go along that line right there that I drew on the frame right here. So it's close enough for test purposes. Alright, so now we get to test it out. Now it's going to be really slow because it's running off of my jump box. So we're just going to run off that jump box just to test it. So now let's see if it's going to run slow. So let's test this bad boy out. See if it'll go up. And make sure that nothing's binding up. And once I put my bushings in there, this won't twist. That's really slow, ain't it? We got plenty of room in here. Nothing's hitting anywhere. Alright, that is full extent. So I think that's going to be plenty of an angle. I think that's going to be plenty of angle for this. I think that's going to work out pretty good. That is at full extent. So yeah, I think that'll be plenty steep enough. And I have plenty of clearance between my wheels. So now let's get you another angle here. If I can stop messing with the camera. Alright, so now we'll bring this back down. You know what? I want to time that. I want to see how long it takes with this jump box. Alright, so let me time that. Alright, for future references, what we're going to do is we're going to put a mark on this, letting me know that that's where it's going to stop. So when I see that mark, I know that that's where I want to stop, because then you're going to start putting pressure on the motor, and we don't want to do that. So that's going to indicate where I'm going to make my switch, so that once it gets to that point, or just close to that point, about that far from being to that mark, then we will know where we want our switch to be shut off. So I'm going to say about a ½ inch before that stops. Alright, so now let's see how long it takes for it to go down. Well, dummy me didn't have my timer set. Alright. If I can remember where my timer is. Pretty sure I had a timer on here because, oh wait a minute, that might have been my other phone. I don't have a timer on here, believe it or not. Alright, well, it just turned to 5:31. So that'll get me close. Now this ought to run a little faster when I get it on a battery that's running with the tractor running and it's at full amperage. I just wonder how much of a load it's going to handle. And I'm hoping that I'm at a good enough angle that with weight in it, it will actually catch up and go. Worst comes to worst, I may have to put something on it to kind of spring load it up. And then we should have a switch on the bottom too, so that once it reaches its bottom, it'll shut off too. Alright, about a minute. So it took a minute for it to go down. So the only thing I got to do now is bolt this on. We're going to bolt it on and make our bushings for down there to keep that centered and straight. And I believe that will have it. So there you go. The dump bed jack that I built, and I think that'll work out. As long as that thing is at a good angle where it's got a good head start, when it's got weight in it, we'll find out. Worst comes to worst, we'll have to put it somewhere else. Who knows? Like I said, this is an experiment. So that's going to be a nice trailer if all that works right. Even if it doesn't work, it's still going to be a nice flatbed trailer, even if it doesn't dump. We were building the trailer to begin with just to be having a trailer. I decided to put dump on it later on, so that was just a bonus. If it doesn't work, it's no big deal. I'd like for it to work, and I'm going to make it work. It's just trial and error. So that'll end this part of the garden trailer build. If you want to support the channel, you can do that by PayPal to bisonworkshop@gmail.com. Any contributions will help and be appreciated. You guys have a good one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys be good. Later.